Welcome to your journey of healing with the Healing Podcast, hosted by licensed clinician Monique Owe and co-host Dr. Amber Moan.
Hello, thank you for tuning into the Healing Podcast. I am your host, Monique Owe. Dr. Moan is not here with me today. And just to give a little explanation with that, Dr. Moan is not here with me because I am in a different location now it's much farther in distance than the other location I was in. And so it's been difficult for me to link up with Dr. Moan, but hopefully we will link up soon. So you have me for now. Hopefully dealing with me is good enough. And we're going to get started. Today's episode is called Stop Letting Them Spend Your Money. I'll say that one again. Stop letting them spend your money. So, and before all of that, before we get into the nice little topic, Happy New Year to everyone. This is now 2025. We have crossed over. Can you believe it? We are here, 2025. So with that, stop letting them spend your money. What does that mean? Well, it means exactly what it says. Stop letting people spend the money. Spend your money. And what I mean by that is in reference to people who make plans with their money because they know they can count on you to help them with your money. I think we all know people like that, probably somewhere, or we've crossed people like that somewhere in our paths. And I'm not talking about those who are truly in a bad bind and you have decided that you're going to help them out because that's something you are able to do and you want to do because this person genuinely needs to help and you're able to do so. I'm not talking about people like that. So let's just get that out your mind. I am talking about the people who you help usually on a consistent basis, or usually they come to you when they're in a jam and you're usually the only person to help them out of that jam. I'm telling you to stop. Of course, the decision is yours, but here's what I'm saying. There are people who exist who maybe don't make the best choices with their money. And it may be they're in a bad spot. I'm not saying they're not in a bad spot or a bad situation because, listen, things are expensive nowadays. The economy is crazy and prices are high. So the struggle is real. But I'm talking about even in the struggle, whether it's now or before or whatever's going on, they tend to make a decision with their money because they know in the back of their mind, they can come to you and you're going to jump right in and help them out with something. And it might be time to stop that. This is a new year. It's time to do something different. And you may be feeling bad about it because sometimes we feel bad when we don't help people because we know what's going to happen if we don't. Well, here's the thing. You're not meant to fix everything for everybody. I don't know where we get that idea that we're supposed to do that. Should you be kind and help sometimes? Yeah, if you can. But all the time, no. You're not meant to be the rescuer of everybody or of that person or people every single time. But why do we do that? We do that because we either feel guilty if we don't, we feel bad what's going to happen to them if we don't help. Like they might end up being homeless or they might be without a car. Or they might lose their job because maybe it's to the point where if you don't help them out financially, they won't be able to get gas to get to work. And of course, they're going to lose their job, right? Whatever the situation. Or maybe they might go hungry because, they said they don't have any food and they just need to get some money for some groceries so they can get by. Whatever the case may be. What I'm saying to you, though, is you got to stop doing that because maybe that person is supposed to be getting a lesson and you keep jumping in and you're preventing them from learning that lesson. There are people who just make poor choices. They get into a bind, they overspend, they do stuff that's not financially in their budget, or they won't do things so that things can be in their budget. Like maybe they are in need of getting a different job, but they won't apply for a different job. Maybe they're in need of getting a small part-time or side job, but they won't go after the part-time or side job. They rather just do what they're doing the way they do it because they know they can count on you. Now, even for them, I'll say this. They may not always want to come to you, but they kind of know they can. So here we are. Well, you got to make a decision this year. You're going to keep doing that or not? because this same cycle has been happening for a while, and here we are. And usually that's a person who usually can't help you when you're in a bind, and they usually don't know when you're in a bind or have a situation going on. So this choice is going to be yours. So my recommendation is to do things differently. Okay? It's not for you to figure out what's going to happen if you don't help. That's up to them. If they're going to be upset with you because you have decided not to help them this one time, well, then now you know where the relationship stands. Whether this is family, loved one, friend, coworker, whoever, whatever the situation may be, and they decide to pivot just because you didn't help them this one time. Remember, you have helped them 10 other times, 100 other times, but this one time they decide to stop talking to you, well, then that's where it is. And you have to move forward. So I hope that we will do things differently this year, so stop letting them spend your money. And you know what? And you don't have to make a judgment either about it either. Why are you in this money? Why are you in this situation? You don't have to get all that explanation as to why they're in that situation. Your job is to control you and not do it. That's your job. You don't have to go into the why and the what and how. It's your question is yes or no. And I hope this time it's a no. But let's get into, let's make a little pivot before we wrap up the episode. Let's go into, you guessed it, the situation. And let's talk about what I've come across. So for this situation, I am a company owner. I've had a company now for 10 years. It's in the service industry. We provide a service. And one of my employees, who has been with me pretty much from the start, has really come into a situation where now they're really being more of a harm to my business than a help. And I do understand what they're going through, but I can no longer carry the load, and I'm going to have to let them go. And I'm struggling with letting them go. I struggle with letting them go because I know they need their job, and also because they were one of my first people that worked with me. I think they were the second person. So it was me, my first person, and then them. And so they do a great deal, but I can no longer carry them. I am sympathetic to what they're going through, but I can no longer do it. And I feel bad about letting them go because I know this may cause a problem. Okay. So with that situation there, I say, when you're a business owner, tough decisions have to be made. Many times it's not easy to be a business owner because you have to make those decisions often. And sometimes you can't worry about what's going to happen next. You have to do what's good for your business. I do understand this person's been loyal to you. They've been there for years, but sometimes things have run its course and you do have to let them move on. You can't worry about how they're going to do things forward. It's the way it sounds like this person was already doing a lot of things. And at this point, it's coming to a final point where they have to be let go because they're more of a harm. So that means, sounds to me probably you've looked over some things over the years or at least recently, and now you can no longer look it over. I say be about business. You got to be about your business because that's what you want. I'm assuming you want your business to succeed. You've been in there 10 years, so you've been doing something right. And you just have to figure out what's the plan now that you're letting this person go. Who's going to take over their spot? Are you going to pick up the slack or whatever? I don't even know what role they are in your company, if they're the manager or if they do billing or whatever. I don't know. You said service industry. Maybe they're in the front. So just have a plan about what you're going to do while this person is not there and how you're going to fill that role. But sometimes enough is enough. And a part of being a business owner is making tough decisions. So I hope that's helpful to you. You're not a bad person because you had to let someone go. Sometimes it happens. Okay, so that is the situation. And I hope if anyone else is going through something similar, that's been helpful to you as well. Or if you know someone going through something similar, maybe just say those words. Like sometimes you have to make tough decisions and it is what it is. You can't make the decision and also figure out the solution. I don't think that's not possible. Okay, getting back into stop letting them spend your money. Look at how fitting the situation kind of fit the situation we're talking about. You can't always let people spend your money. And you don't always need to know why they're in their predicament. Now, one thing I will say that you have to stop doing if you're the person who always helps or ends up being the person to help, you don't always have to know why a person is in their predicament. It's either up to you to help or not help. Because I just want to know, what does knowing why they're in that predicament do? That has nothing to do with whether you're going to help or not. It's either yes, you're going to help or not. The decision here is stop helping them when they like to spend your money. Yes, it is true. I'm going to say it again. There are people who go out and do things because they know you're going to help. Case in point, let's give an example. They will go and maybe go buy a new shirt that maybe they couldn't necessarily afford. Maybe let's say the shirt costs $40 and they really could have used that $40 to put gas in their tank or maybe to buy some groceries or buy something from the grocery store, because I know $40 doesn't go too far nowadays. But instead of buying the groceries or putting gas in their tank, they bought the shirt because the shirt is something they can wear to go out or whatever the situation might be. So they go buy the shirt. Now they're short $40 and they know they can come to you because you're going to give them $40 or you're going to lend it to them. Even if you lend them the money, here's the situation. And here you come rescuing them and lending them the $40, and they might be on point. They may always be a person that pays you back, but understand, why do they always have to keep coming to you for the $40 or for whatever they need? Do you see what I'm saying? How people will make plans with your money, so they're spending your money. Or what about the ones who don't pay back? Maybe they're in a situation where they can't, and you know they're not going to be able to pay back. But here you are, still coming to the rescue. Well, let's stop that in 2025, okay? Let's do something different. Let's also stop drilling people about why they're in their situation. That's not your business unless what they're doing is deeply impacting your life. Well, yeah, if you keep helping them, it's impacting your life, but that was your choice. So instead of going down an interrogation as to why they need to help, just make your decision of yes to help or not, and hopefully it's not. Because this is 2025, and I'm sure you have some goals and some things you're trying to do, and you can't always, help everyone. It's not meant. And if the lesson for them is to get better at their spending and their habits, well, that is the lesson. The lesson might be a big one, a deep one, a painful one for them, but they will be better for it. And so again, stop trying to make the decision and figure out the solution and figure out what's going to come next. How are you going to do that? That's not possible. So I hope that's been helpful to you. Thank you definitely for tuning into the Healing Podcast. And to leave you with something positive, I'll say this. It is never too late to be what you might have been. It is never too late to be what you might have been. So that is from George Eliot. I hope that's helpful to you and you take that however you need to for yourself. And I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.